Florida charges some of the highest car insurance rates in the country, but here's the twist. The cheapest insurer in the state is charging less than half the state's average. And no, it's not Geico or State Farm. At just $52 a month for minimum coverage, how is one insurer offering rates so cheap in a state with hurricanes, flood, and lots of uninsured drivers? Let's break it down. By the end of this video, you'll know which insurers are cheap in Florida right now, how driver type and city will change your car insurance rates, and how to build a policy that's affordable and actually protects you in the state. Here's the deal. Florida has some of the most expensive car insurance rates in the country, partly because of its no-fault system, partly because 1 in 5 drivers aren't insured, and partly because storms keep wrecking everything from sedans to seawalls. The average Floridian pays over $2,700 a month for full coverage policy. That's nearly double the national average. We analyzed millions of quotes across the state and found that one company kept coming out on top. Let's see who it is, along with the 4 other companies with the cheapest average rates in Florida. Here's how the top 5 stack up for minimum coverage, working our way up to the cheapest insurer. Geico is second at $63 a month, and Travelers rounds at the top 5 at $52 a month for minimum coverage policy. That's as cheap as it gets. And for a full coverage policy, Travelers is the cheapest again at $112 a month. That beats out companies like State Farm and Geico. So whatever policy you have, Travelers really is the cheapest in the state, on average. But here's the crazy part. Car insurance rates can differ so much depending on where you live. A driver in Miami Gardens might pay $91 a month for minimum coverage, but the same driver in Lady Lake might pay $32. Same car, same coverage, just a different zip code. This is because insurers use local risk data, things like theft rates, traffic incidents, weather claims. So if your friend down the coast is paying less than you for car insurance, it's not favoritism, it's actuarial math. Now let's zoom in on driver profiles, because the cheapest car insurance company for one type of person might be expensive for another. For young drivers aged 16 to 25, Travelers wins again at about $109 a month for minimum coverage. That beats out Geico and Met Group. For adult drivers, once again, Travelers at $51 a month. That beats out State Farm and Geico. Now, Travelers and Geico tie at $69 a month at the cheapest car insurance for senior drivers. Try out on a senior discount or a defensive driver discount to shave some more money off those rates. Now for high-risk drivers. Got a DUI? State Farm is the cheapest at $68 a month. Have an at-fault accident? Travelers is the cheapest at $69 a month. Or were you caught texting while driving? Auto Owners is the cheapest at $46 a month. So yeah, wherever you're 20 or 70, Travelers is cleaning up as the cheapest on average in Florida. But the coverage you get actually matters. Because of Florida's unique minimum liability limits, many drivers in the state could be one accident away from financial disaster. Let's talk about the minimum coverage trap. Florida's policies only require you to get $10,000 in personal injury protection and $10,000 in property damage liability. That's it. No requirement for bodily injury liability unless you have certain violations. But here's the danger. The average injury claim in Florida costs $22,000, so that's above those limits. And like all states, a minimum coverage policy does not cover weather or theft. So if your car is stolen or damaged by a hurricane, you're out of luck. In short, a Florida minimum coverage policy keeps you legal, but not safe. And in a state where 1 in 5 drivers are uninsured, you're probably going to want to add on uninsured motorist coverage too. Full coverage will almost always be the best option for most drivers. But if you want to know what's best for you, follow the link in the description for more expert advice on how to pick your coverage levels in Florida. So you want to pay less without actually leaving yourself exposed. Well, here's what actually works. 1. Compare at least 3 quotes. We said Travelers is the cheapest on average, but State Farm or Geico might be the cheapest for you. 2. Raise your deductible if you can afford that extra $500 at the time of an accident. Raising your deductible from $500 to $1,000 could save you 15% on your car insurance policy. 3. Stack discounts. Bundle with your home or renter's policy. Pay your policy in full. Do a paperless policy with everything online. Stacking these discounts could save you 20 to 30%. Make sure you have all the right coverage. Comprehensive covers acts of God like hurricanes or floods, whereas collision covers you if you hit something or you're hit by someone else. 5. Improve your credit score. Do this over time. A poor credit score in Florida can double your car insurance rate. Finally, avoid the FAJUA unless you absolutely have to. That's the Florida Automobile Joint Underwriting Association. It's kind of the insurer of last resort in Florida, but the rates can be brutal. Florida is a paradise until it isn't. Between hurricanes, uninsured drivers, and low minimum coverage limits, the cheapest option for you in Florida isn't always the best one. If you remember one thing, let it be this. Travelers has the cheapest car insurance rates on average in Florida this year, but you should make sure you have coverage that actually protects you when things go south. Because in Florida, it's not a matter of if, but when. Check your own rates using free quote tables on MoneyGeek's site, and subscribe to our channel for next week's video where I'll talk about whether it's actually possible to get cheap car insurance with no deposit.